Welcome to Three Talking Rabbits. I'm Gail. This is going to be sort of like a podcasty type thing, so it's a bit of a long video. We're going to start with homeschooling review because we finished our second quarter, so we're midway through the year. We're going to do critters. We're going to talk SCA projects and then personal stuff. Without further ado, homeschooling. He is in third grade this year, and we are midway through third grade. He is reading! We're doing Torchlight II for the second year. Logic and Legends! And it is a hefty curriculum. This is the second year of our Torchlight II adventures because, of course, we also do child-led learning, which can be a little bit distracting. And we also sort of like, if he was really into a book in Torchlight, we just finished it. And they have it broken up over time. So a lot of these things, like I'm going through and just crossing them off as we reach them. So there's like entire weeks that we've already done without having technically done them with the curriculum. We did them with the book list, which is fine. We really, really love this program. It is a secular program, but it does not shy away from talking about religions and faith and cultures and worldview curriculum. She does pretty well. There have been some things that I've had like very small issues with, but nothing that's not fixable. So overall, very happy with this. It is definitely a well-rounded education. No complaints. It is, if you want to be doing homeschool light, this is not the program for you. Okay, this is a full academic curriculum. It is going to take you 4 to 6, sometimes 7 hours to get through this per day. This is my job. Okay, don't. There's no skimping on this. All right. So we're very happy with it overall, and that is going to fall. Let's just put it where it can't go down any farther. Okay. Part of Torchlight is that you have chapter reading books that you read to the child. And this is The Seven Tales of Trinket. It's by Shelley Moore Thomas. And it is a fantastic story. This is our current reading book, and I have started reading his books ahead of time because my son is what you would call a sensitive learner, where he gets scared by things or he gets upset by things and that type of stuff. So I did read it ahead of time. It does have some scary parts in it. I'm pretty sure he can handle them. He's been into Scooby-Doo, so I'm fairly certain he can do this. I did have one major issue with this book in that it uses the G word to refer to the Romani people. And it bothered me enough as a reader that I went through and I like printed out Romani and Roma and like glued it into the book wherever it appears, just so that I did not have to read a racial slur. So I think that you can see that. And it's not a big deal. You know, I just went through and changed it. And the book was written prior to that really becoming an awareness, like a larger cultural awareness thing. And I think even today it's really not, because you still see things advertised as G-skirts. You know, it's one of those things that it hasn't reached the larger social consciousness that this is not a nice word to use to refer to somebody. So I'm trying to make him aware of what words used to be okay and are no longer okay that he may hear, and so that he doesn't repeat them. You know, it's one of those things where I don't want to shy away from talking about that type of thing because I don't want him to fall into that trap of not being aware of racism and ethnic conflicts and that type of thing. I think that it's really important that he understands that those things exist and that we can all accidentally be part of them because they're so ingrained in our culture. Wherever I can, we're gonna fix it, right? We're not just gonna let it go. So then we have Logic of English. But I think I'm going to do a separate video on this. But this program right here got my reluctant reader reading. He tested in for Foundations B at 7 years old. He's now 8. And we have one more lesson in Foundations B. We purchased Foundations C. These are not inexpensive. They are 100% worth it. So it comes with a lot of stuff, and I only brought the teacher's manual and the workbook up. But seriously, this one got the kid reading. It goes over phonograms in a way that is constantly repetitive and you remember it. It builds on like the different rules for how letters sound. Very cool program. Anyway, child reading. Awesome sauce. He's also writing. Not a whole lot, but he is writing. So it's not great, you know, but he's doing it. So that's awesome. And he's also doing less of the backwards letters. And yeah, just generally huge improvement. So we're very happy with that. Well worth the money. Let's see, what do we have next? Yes. Co-op update. Our co-op is still meeting on Zoom. We have seven families that are regulars. And of course people, sometimes they can't make it one week or another. And we're rotating parent hosts. He looks forward to it every week. He is talking to children again, which is great. It's really helped with him. He went through into this like whole shyness thing during the first year of the pandemic. Like it was hard. And he's really coming out of that, which is great. And he's learning how to have conversations with more than one child and how to resolve conflicts and how to stand up for himself without trampling over other people and that sort of thing. So there's some good stuff happening there. And the lessons that the other parents have done have been pretty fantastic too, so we've enjoyed them. Next up, which is also part of Torchlight, this is, not that it's part of Torchlight, but it was one of the recommended things. This is Earth and Environment. And we did this last year and we're finishing it up this year. And we're also in conjunction doing the RSO Real Science Odyssey Life. So we're doing both of them and we kind of like alternate between them. He's having a tremendous amount of fun with this. And then we've also been doing some physics and astronomy stuff. And we're really going to dive into physics and astronomy next year. We have a tank of earthworms right now. We have seeds growing. One in a pot of sand, which has all died now, totally expectedly. And one in a soil mixture of compost, sand, and outdoor dirt. There are many seeds growing in it, and it's an interesting soil mixture happening there, but there are many seeds growing in it, including the 3 that we wanted to have grow, which I believe are squash. I don't know. Anyway, they're not going to make it. It's okay. Whatever. He has a book that goes with his life science book, and he puts the little kingdoms in there. This is where we are right now. Where snails are coming up. Mollusks is the next one up. So that's kind of fun. Stories. He writes lots and lots of stories. So there are stories that he writes for his school assignments, and then there are stories that he says, "Mommy, I want to tell you a story. Can you please type it for me?" And I said, "Can you please use the dictation program?" "No, Mommy, it messes up too much. Can you please type it for me?" So I sit there and I type a story for him. And he's become a much better storyteller this year. Like, he's always had nice stories, but they were always like really short little blurbs, and now he's actually like got a beginning, a middle, and an end to his stories, and he's learning how to expand on them, which is very cool. My son is ready to play D&D, which is awesome. I have been a lifetime D&D geek, so I'm kind of chuffed about that. So he's doing very, very well in school. We're very happy, and he is in a much better place, mentally and emotionally speaking, now than he was at the beginning of the year. With the co-op, it has helped tremendously. Even though we haven't gotten together to play with anybody, just seeing kids each week has helped a lot. Okay, critters. Crittery critters. I got some critters. So I have the ducks, I have the chickens, I have the bunnies, I have the cats, I have some fish, I have some shrimp. The fish like to eat the shrimp, so I don't have very many shrimp. The ducks were supposed to go to freezer camp like months ago, but they are very cute. And I really like the ducks. And they do a great job keeping the weeds down. Yeah, I'm going to have to freezer camp some ducks that I actually like pretty soon. I may end up keeping my fweeps. It is entirely possible that I could end up with 3 pet fweeps, because darn, they are cute. And they talk to me. They're like, meh, 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 meh. And I'm like, yeah. Go swim. Oh, meh, meh. Yeah, we gotta go swim. So I have chickens. My Anna chicken passed away today. She was very sick for 3 weeks. And it was age. It wasn't like she was ill. But she slowed down. I think she was blind in one eye because like she would take a step and she'd like fall over. And when it got warm out this past week, she went out and she ate some grass, and then she passed away this morning. So, everything that's born dies, and there it is. Bunnies are doing really well. I haven't made any bunny videos lately. I haven't had electricity out in the bunny house for several months because something happened to the line. They got the line working today. I still don't have electricity out there because there's something wrong with the ground, like the ground line. So that's going to be another couple weeks before, or maybe even a couple months before that can get fixed. We're running an electric cord out there right now to do the heater so that the water doesn't freeze, and to do the blower so that I can like have Angora rabbits. But it has not been filmable. We did insulate the entire bunny house with foam insulation, and that has helped tremendously. It's maintaining about a 40-degree temperature in there with just one little heater, whereas before it was hard to keep that place heated. The cats. Excuse me while I scritch my nose. Cats. Speaking of cats. We have a lot of cats this year. I got 2 of our cats spayed and neutered. One of them, who was my real buddy, got hit in the road last week. I can't blame the neuter for that because he was always a derp, and I got him fixed so that he wouldn't kill himself for being a derp, and there it is. But we have a lot of cats this year, and I did a bunch more fundraising to try and get money to fix said cats, and we just have not gotten it done because the car issues and the blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we're in a place right now where I can start getting more cats fixed. And the fishies are doing pretty good. I got them a new tank. I'm not battling algae anymore. So the Cornish Crosses from last year that I think I posted videos on are all in the freezer, and they are delicious. We had Small Boy for Christmas as our guest of honor. And if they didn't have expiration dates, I would still have Small Boy as my chicken. But Cornish Crosses, very good for people who get sentimental about animals and still want to eat them, because you cannot keep them. They're a fatal cross. They will die if you do not process them. They will die horribly. So, very good for when you absolutely want to put them in the freezer. And Mr. Chase, our beagle dog, is doing very, very well. He is old and fat and happy, and that is all okay. SCA stuff. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'm going to say not just SCA stuff, but like art stuff. So I have been nature journaling. which I showed in a video before, which was probably horribly dry and boring for those of you who do not nature journal, but I'm going to make you suffer through it yet again. Very happy with the whole nature journaling thing. So I got a new nature journal for this year. It just so happened that I ran out and I did not start nature journaling until the beginning of the year. So what I have are page of the month, which I started on a Monday because don't you all say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Yeah, so I started this one on a Monday rather than a Sunday. And then we've got a couple days per page on most of them, which I found interesting. So on January 1st, there were some earthworms humping in the yard, so I drew those. And then we went to Letchworth State Park, and I did not do a whole lot of drawing there. I actually didn't even bring the journal. I just noted the temperature. And then I took a bunch of pictures, and I worked from the pictures when I got home. So that was a lot of fun. And then on January 10th, I did the birds in the yard. So that took me a couple days to do that particular spread. And I'm not pushing myself to do a journal entry per day. I'm giving myself the time and the space. And this particular journal allows for more mixed media and like heavier use of inks, watercolor. It doesn't take colored pencil terribly well. It sort of looks grainy and ooky. So it really needs more of a wet medium to do it justice because it's more like a cold pressed watercolor paper. So I picked up, very briefly, I'll talk about the book project that I did this fall. It was an Aethelmark Kingdom assignment. It was the Codex Corone, and it was basically a book thanking the people who had worked through the first year of COVID to keep our SCA group online and entertained and stuff like that. And they did a fantastic job, and all of their stuff is up on YouTube, so you can go to Kingdom of Aethelmark and watch the shenanigans. And of course, if you don't know the people, it's not quite as funny as if you actually know them, because it's like a bunch of in-jokes and stuff. But this week, I picked up a different project, which is actually a paid commission, and it's going to get me some new art supplies. And this is for part of a tarot deck. And again, this is an Aethelmark thing. So we got people from the Kingdom of Aethelmark to sponsor a tarot card. And by sponsoring it, they get to be on it. So we've got different folks taking different cards. And I'm not showing up close because these are rough drafts and this is not how they're going to look when they're done. But overall, very happy with them. They're a lot of fun. Some of them I'm really struggling with, like the 8. Neither one of these are it. This one came together just beautiful. This is the other 8. I really like this one. There's some awkwardness happening, but I'll gotta see what I can do to fix that. I think I could fix it with like background stuff versus, because it's just kind of like little ghosty off the page there. So that's what I have done so far. I'm averaging like 2 to 4 per day. Don't ask me how many I have. I'm going to have some tea. You should have some tea too. We should have all had some tea from the beginning of this. Isn't it great listening to somebody else slurp their tea? Okay, so this is personal. And if you have body or weight issues, you may want to stop watching right now. So after I had COVID the first time, when I was like, it's not COVID, no, it totally was, I ended up with horrible acid reflux. And I mean, it's a combination of like, I've always sort of had acid reflux and didn't know what it was, but this really made it awful. And so I went to see the ENT. They put me on omeprazole and famotidine. And I was on that for a few months, and of course you can't stay on it, so you have to go off of it. And I did really well for a couple months, and then I got a cold or like allergies or something like that, and my son is bouncing on his trampoline. And it was awful. And it was like right back. And I kept having to go back on this stuff. And you only get 3 prescriptions a year because that's all they want you taking. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, I can't lay down. I can't bend over. Like, I'm not coughing constantly. I can't exercise. Like, I need something else. Well, he wanted me to go see a gastroenterologist. Well, the gastroenterologist wanted me to have an endoscopy with the contrast dye and some kind of other exploratory something or other that they have to knock you out for. Well, last time I was knocked out, it did not go terribly well. And I am allergic to the contrast dye. So it's like, well, you know, that would be great, but the famotidine makes me hurt like crazy too. That's another, like, it's nuts how bad it hurts. So I really don't want to be on it. So I looked up different things that you can do for acid reflux. This guy, Watcher's diet. I am going to, not that I could recommend anything because I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm just a lady who tries not to puke when she bends over. It has been very, very helpful. So if you have acid reflux, I highly, not a medical recommendation, but a personal one, I highly recommend picking this book up. At least take a look at it at the library, okay? I find this guy to be an officious. I hate him. He's right. I'm not totally poor anymore. Like, we're definitely middle class now. If you're below the poverty line, you're going to struggle with this one. Okay? Do not follow the eating plan because you're going to have half a pear this week and then you're going to have the other half of that pear 2 weeks from now after it's rotten. This is going to drive you crazy. Alright? So, but you can follow it on a budget. You just can't follow, you know, you're going to have this for breakfast and this for lunch and this for dinner. You need to, like, choose your menu items as you go through, which is what I've been doing because, I'm sorry, if I cook one of my chicken breasts, I'm going to eat the chicken breast, okay? It's not inexpensive, but it has been tremendously helpful. Not easy, it's a whole lot of cooking, you know, it's not open and go, but I'm home, you know, teaching the kid, so I do have the time to do that. Now that I'm eating more calories, I also have the energy to do it. So one of the things about being a fat person, and I don't know if you all know this, is that we tend not to eat very much. Okay, like there are people who are overweight because they do eat too much. If I eat too much, I get sick. And I was eating somewhere between 900 and 1100 calories per day, which we all know is not enough. Okay, but I have battled with this my entire life. And it's an issue, okay? And I've had a lot of medical people roll their eyes at me because I'm a fat lady. And so they think, well, you must eat too much. Well, no, actually I don't eat enough. And so I got in to see a dietitian last year. And she was like, oh, no, you need to eat much more than that or you will never lose weight. So I got myself up to about 1200 calories regular. And I lost quite a bit of weight then. And then with Acid Watcher diet, it ranges between 1400 and 1600 calories per day. And I have lost another 10 pounds in. So I have been keeping a food journal. I was keeping a food journal online on Lose It, but that wasn't working out terribly well for me. So I started keeping one here. And I use, because it's all home cooking, it's called Very Well Fit. And you plug in what the foods are and how much like what the individual ingredients are and like how much you ate of them. And it gives you a calorie count. Like you have to watch it, especially on salmon. They think you're rich or something. Like they want to give you like that top tier salmon that's like 8 gazillion calories. And I'm eating like the pink salmon, which is like 300 calories because I'm poor. I'm sorry, I can't afford fatty salmon. I have tended to fall into 2 different breakfast options. I call it the BOA smoothie. bananas, oats, and almond. I'm doing pretty well with it. It's chicken and fish for the meats, which is what I was on before, but I'm more conscious about how much I'm eating of them. And a lot more vegetables. Almost no fruit, but it's bananas and pears and figs, and I think that's about it. Bananas, pears, and figs. Berries. I can eat berries. So it's not very many fruits in the first part of the diet. And I'm on, I believe, day 17 now, and I haven't logged it today yet. And I don't even know if I logged day 16. No, I didn't log day 16. That's okay, whatever. It's a 28-day plan to start, and I am getting through it on anger and snark. Yeah. Anyway. The eating of the more of the foods. It's 4 meals a day. Technically it's supposed to be 5 meals a day. I cannot do 5 meals a day. But the eating of the more of the foods has increased my energy levels. I'm not having as much brain fog. My body pain is down. Like, my body still hurts, don't get me wrong. Like, life still sucks in, like, the back department, the joints department, the blah, blah, blah. I found a magnesium I can take, and my hands don't shake. Naturally, my pinky finger's going right now. But anyway, for the most part, my essential tremor has resolved, so that's awesome. I'm not supposed to be drinking coffee. However, if I stop drinking coffee, then the migraines come back. So I'm still technically drinking 1.5 cups of coffee per day. Because there are trade-offs in life, and sometimes there it is. I think that's about it. Things are going pretty well. And yeah, I'll end this before it ends up being 30 minutes long. So actually I'll turn this so you can see it. I hold it so I can see it. This is the camel cup, and I love it. My friend Denise made it. It's always better to drink out of a cup that a friend made. There's no sugar in this tea. Alright, y'all have a good night, or day, or whatever. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. You can leave a comment down below if you want, but I may or may not answer it. So, yeah.